Electric Ghost, and we're happy to have Jed James on the line. And you're an electronic music producer from Detroit, right?
Yes, sir.
And so you
Yeah, about
you're into
long
yeah. Go ahead.
currently, anyways.
That's where you are. That's where you're based right now. So
Yeah,
you're into like techno,
that's,
ghetto tech, Detroit electro. That's your style.
yes.
So you would think of yourself as a producer, electronic musician, right?
Yeah, and DJ,
And DJ.
and yeah, yeah. I can play guitar and bass, and
Well,
I
that's
used to
cool.
be.
So you're full musician. You're not just like a guy playing a CDJ. It's like,
Yeah, no, I don't even play CDJs. I just do vinyl.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's good to hear. 'Cause
yeah,
I'm an old school like electronic musician, so I actually have Moogs and
yeah,
Rolands and Profits and stuff like that. But
yeah. I don't use any DAWs at all. I use all gear.
yeah. I'm a total dolless guy too.
Yeah, I
I'm that
record it all just straight to Audacity, and that's it.
that's cool. Like I record right to a Zoom R24.
I got
I
a
go
Zoom. I got a Zoom H4n.
H4n. Yeah, I go right to a Zoom R24. It's like 24 tracker, and then it goes right
Oh,
to SD
that's
card.
nice.
And you can like bounce to 48, so you can do a lot of cool stuff. And it's got like C414 mic profiles and SM57s, and
Oh wow.
you,
So you got
you
all the
can do.
different mic profiles. Does it have like the Russian?
Yeah, it's just it
Oh
has
wow.
compression, it has effects, it has mastering. So you can go through one time and then you go back through again, and you can
Mhm.
master your stuff in different
That's awesome.
profiles. Yeah, so
I've
it's like yeah.
yeah, I've taken doing a lot of mastering just live while recording. I've gotten everything kind of down to to a acceptable level, anyways for
Yeah.
me. Um, and then the only mastering that needs to get done usually is for vinyl.
Yeah. Well, I do all my initial mastering, like, and then I might take it to like, well, I have some services I use, like, not to pop what they do, but I've got some distribution deals where I can get some additional mastering. But I do my first cut myself. But we're gonna get into your song because we're gonna play it, and then on the backside you tell me what the name is. Um, so we're gonna get into it right now, and we just cue it back up because I think it actually, well, it might start where it is because like I'm on Instagram, so it's not as cool. But I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna put you on mute, and we'll talk when it's done. Okay? So we're back. And so, Jed, what's the name of that track? Are you back? Are you there? No, I don't hear you. Hey, Jed?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you again. So what's
Yeah.
the name of that track?
Belle Isle Boogie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Belle
Yeah, so
Isle's island right off of the coast, right in the river, right off the shore of Detroit.
that's cool. So I mean, I was watching the video. On the video podcast, we were going to try to do a video, but we couldn't do it because of technical issues. But I saw you with your gear, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like I don't know if you ever see my stuff. It's like I got this big stack, like a.
Yeah, I watched a couple of your videos, man. You got a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, it's like I'm like trying to be like Rick Wakeman or like Bernie Worrell.
Those
But
both solid.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But let me get into the questions because I like to go through the questions with all the artists we talk to. So um, the first question we always ask everybody is like when did you first get into music and at what age? You still there? Hello? I lost you again.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, yeah.
Can you hear me
So
now?
yeah, I can hear. So what like when did you first get into music and at what age?
I was 8. actually. I was into music a little bit before that, but I didn't. I was 8, and I was at the park with right. We had this park by our house, and they'd have break dancers out there all the time. This was
Hmm.
in the 80s, um, and I heard Zapp and Roger, more bounce to the ounce,
Okay.
and I was like, "Whoa, what is that?"
That's
You know,
that's what did it for you.
that's what did it for me. I was hooked. I wanted to find out how they made those sounds. I wanted to learn how to break dance. I wanted, yeah, I was about it. After I heard that, and then then I heard Planet Rock and some other stuff, and I was just like, wow, this is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, Planet Rock kind of did it for me. I mean, well, I'm a little bit different because I'm more of a like a new wave guy or
Hmm.
progressive thing, but I do like original hip hop,
Hmm.
because there's something about the vinyl original hip hop, and when
Oh
they
yeah,
were yeah, and even when they started doing the 808s and the TBO3 and the mini mogs over it, um, it's just I just like the kind of guttural power of it because it's kind of got like a little bit of a punk aesthetic because like they're just gonna do what they want, you know.
yeah. There's no rules.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if you think about the Sex Pistols and the Clash, early rap has got that same kind of guttural
That's energy.
the energy. Yeah, because it's like
Yeah,
hey, we don't care if you're not supposed to do that, we're gonna
we're
do
doing.
it. you know, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Um, So how
But
long you been working on music since you got interested in it? When did you start actually like
um,
trying to do it?
I started trying to play instruments like really early on. Like, I mean, when I was 8, my family played instruments. My mom played guitar and cello, and my dad played trumpet and recorder and all sorts of stuff. And so, like, we were always encouraged to play instruments. And so at 8, I was playing the recorder. I was also messing around on the piano. I didn't have lessons or anything.
Yeah,
But it's all about having fun. And that's something that I really appreciate about my parents is they were more concerned with us having fun playing instruments than us, learning
trying to
the
go to
five or whatever.
conservatory. They're not trying to get you into a conservatory.
No, no.
You get you to go play like concert piano, and you got
Yeah, yeah. They weren't trying to, do some stuff suit type thing,
to forced you. Yeah. Well, that's the thing about like my background is my dad was a big like James Brown Motown fan, and he had
Oh,
all the chess records. Right, he had all these 78s. He had like every Motown album, right,
mm-hmm.
on vinyl. And and then I grew up, with the early stuff. And then you got like songs in the key of life and all the stuff that Stevie was doing. And then that's what kind of got me into synths because I heard like a Yamaha GX1 on
Ooh,
like Saturn and Village Ghetto Land. I'm like, what the hell is that? And
right?
and I'm like, that thing is so nasty. It's like it's a polyphonic analog synth, and it don't sound like
Like any of the other ones,
yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't sound like anything else. And I'm like, and he actually, and I heard in an interview, he said, I could have had an orchestra do it, but it's better on the synth because it doesn't sound like anything else.
Yeah.
And so I said, that's why you use a synth. You try to take it. You don't necessarily want to sound exactly like a piano. You want to do
That's
something else,
what a sampler's for.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't need it. Yeah, if I have my Moog, I'm not going to try to make it sound like something. I'm gonna make it sound like some space Moog, But
I want my
so
Moog to sound like a harmonium.
yeah, why would I do that? But it's like, so when did you realize that you had a talent and you wanted to write your own music? Because a lot of people get into music, and they do a cover band and is doing like Zepp or they're doing like Freebird all day. Um, when
Well,
when did you think you wanted to do like something different than just cover band type stuff? Or you want to do your own thing?
ever since I was a little kid, I I I I never really tried to learn other people's songs.
Hmm.
Um, like I had a friend show me like a couple chords on Weezer, "Say It Ain't So," and that's about
That's it.
all that I've actually like learned how to play. Other stuff I kind of figured out, but I was really more about the experimenting and coming up with my own ideas, and that was always encouraged at my dad's house. So really from the beginning, I was always trying to come up with my own songs. Um,
I think that's awesome because
Probably
like the
nine.
9 years old. Because like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's interesting because like almost everybody I talk to when I get into this, right, most of them are like under 10 years old. Like
yeah,
I've talked to like almost 80 singer songwriters and bands and stuff since 2018. And every time I talk to them, like most of them are like under 10 years old when they found out that they really loved music. And then, by the time they're in their mid-teens, they had their first bands, they had their writing stuff. They got a guitar, they got a synth, they got like a
yeah.
groove a
My
groove
my
box or something.
band was eighth grade.
you know, Eighth grade. Oh wow, it's cool. So what's your first instrument that you tried to learn?
The first instrument that I actually tried to learn and took lessons for was the saxophone,
Saxophone.
alto. I
Alto.
wasn't in a band or anything. I just took lessons
Yeah, yeah.
and I played at home. But eventually, I had to take. My dad had me taking so many lessons, and I just got tired of it.
Yeah, if you're not into jazz, you're probably not going to be into it.
Well, I love the saxophone and I love jazz. I didn't
Yeah,
love.
maybe you didn't like your teacher.
It didn't like my teacher.
Yeah. Oh, you faded a little bit. Try to get back in. You just faded a tiny bit. Are you back? Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah. I mean, the interesting thing is, I started on the clarinet, and it's like a wind. And there's a lot of people, because you go to school and you didn't do it because you're in a band or something. But like I was kind of like I was on a recorder, and then I picked an instrument. I picked a clarinet, and then later, like it's like 1978 because I'm like 53, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I see like MTV, I see like Joy Division, right?
Yeah,
And I see like, Love is Gonna Tear Us Apart. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like,
yeah,
I don't want this clarinet. I want I want to find what that synth is, right? And I
yeah.
want to figure out what these guys are doing with these fenders and stuff. And I'm like, and so then I just totally went into I started looking for synths in like junk stores.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to
That's a good
find
play.
like 106s and stuff, trying to find ones that were beat up and fix them. Um,
Yeah, I used to have a 106. You know.
yeah, it's just like that's the kind of thing. It's like I would see these guys on MTV and I say, hey, these guys are kind of just kicking at doing whatever they want. I'm going to do it too. It's like and I'm 17 and we had this punk aesthetic. We like the Clash, we like the Who, we like like a lot of the bands coming out of CBGB. So we were like, yeah, that's what we should do. We should just have a punk aesthetic and just do this stuff. Um, I think that's when people like you love what you're doing. We didn't care if we made money. We
Yeah.
get to go to house parties and people boo at us and say, "What the hell are you doing?" And we're like, we just trying to get into it, you know. But
Yeah. So did you ever get into suicide?
what do you mean suicide? What do you mean?
The band Suicide.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Like suicide. Yeah, there's a bunch of there's suicidal tendencies, but
Not
there's
suicidal tendencies, just suicide.
suicide. Well, I don't know if I heard them. I mean, I was into
Oh,
Husker Du. I was into Black Flag. I was into a lot of stuff on SST.
yeah, yeah. That's these guys were like early '70s to.
Oh, lost you a little bit.
My
Yeah, there you
my
go.
phone, I got it. So it's dying on me. It's just two guys. Martin, what's his name? Anyways,
Well, I'll check them out.
yeah, you should totally check them out. It's some wild stuff, synth stuff. It's really, really, really intense.
I like
And
that
pretty.
because I like that. Yeah, I like that early kind of like Joy Division, early New Order.
These guys are on a like kind of like a dark
A darker,
synth
like
noise.
a Depeche Mode or Nine Inch Nails type of thing.
You almost like throbbing gristle.
Oh, okay, okay, I get it.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like these guys were the first people to use the word punk
Wow,
really as a term for music. They called
that's
their music.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So they did it before like Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols.
Oh yeah, they did it in like '71.
Wow, that's kind of like Death. If you ever heard of the band Death, they were like in like 72, 73 or
That
4.
was good. Woo.
Yeah, Death. That's a cool band. I mean, I like the Stooges too. Or MC5, like
MC5, one of the
yeah,
greatest ever.
yeah. I mean, MC5. I mean, like I think Rage Against the Machine tried to channel them like on a record one time.
Yeah. I could see that. I could totally see
Yeah,
that.
they did a couple of covers of MC5 songs, and I'm like, wow, that they did it pretty good.
I mean, Kick Out the Jam still is the jam.
Yeah, well, it's the kind of thing. It's like that kind of, it's that first like real, it's a real hardcore punk song before the Clash, before the Sex
Hmm.
Pistols. Maybe this other band you're talking about, like they maybe done it before them. But
Yeah,
I always say that the Who though might be the first real punk band. If
the Who. I mean, they were in the '60s, and they were doing some wild, out there stuff. They were getting noisy.
yeah,
Uh,
like my generation's got some punk aesthetic type stuff on it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of a punk album. It's just it's not normal. They're not talking about what like going out with a girl.
No, no, they were talking about much deeper
Yeah.
and even not very deep subjects, but like
Yeah, just playing around, like just effing around like a punk band, will F
yeah,
around like the Ramones, just going crazy and saying something that's silly. But okay, so who are your influences? We've been talking a little bit about it. I mean, I could figure like the Stooges, MC5, but maybe giving me like your specific like
my
influences.
electronic music influences.
Well, just anybody, like, 'cause, like you could be an electronic musician, but you could be inspired by like the Velvet Underground,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so that's what I'm talking about. Like in terms of, I like to know everybody's kind of reference and influences, even if it's not in your genre. Yep, I think your mic went up in. Try it again. You're back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
here.
back. Yep, yep.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you.
Aphex Twin.
Yep.
Um, who else? The Specials.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I know that. I know that.
the
That's a
the
good band.
um, yeah. Who else? Mad.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many. It's tough.
Yeah,
Like
I mean it's
Richie
hard to.
Hawt.
Oh
It's
yeah,
hard to
that's
nail
cool.
it down. Like
Yeah, I would try
Ectomorph.
to give people like a top 10, maybe like a who.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It kind of goes
They,
from like where you are, because you could you could be like really into television right now, and then
yeah,
next week like you're into Who's Kado, and next week you're into the
yeah.
Replacements. You never know.
It can, and some days it's the Butthole Surfers.
Oh yeah, I love my cousin got me into those guys.
Oh yeah, I was a huge fan in the '90s, and I still like them today, but I don't listen to them every day.
Yeah, I like a band called Camper Van Beethoven, but they were
Oh
kind of real
yeah,
psychedelic. Yeah,
yeah,
they
I
were
remember
very
them.
Yeah, they were really cool. Yeah, I mean, because I was just a big fan of anything on SST,
Mhm.
anything on Sub Pop, anything on IRS. I was just going to all the small labels because I was like a radio DJ at my college. I went to running like, okay, I'm just going to run everything on SST.
Yeah,
And
well, it was
SST used to
like
send stuff out like that anyway.
yeah, I had so many SST catalogs. Oh my god. Minutemen. That's actually in the top 10 influence
Oh
for me.
yeah, with Minutemen
But
I had tons of stuff from them. I had
yeah, I had all their albums. I had them all on cassette, but I wish I would have had them vinyl. Uh, they were incredible. Like
Yeah, they're a great band. I got a lot of stuff on vinyl because I was buying it when vinyl was the main thing. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I just didn't have a record player when I was younger. I didn't get one until I was in high school.
I was
Actually.
lucky because my dad, like I said, he was an audiophile, so he had
Hmm.
this big cabinet one with the
Ah.
cabinet speakers, right? And it was like he had the he had actually like multiple record. They would like a record changer, so you could put like
Oh
five
yeah.
records on it, and he had the big speakers on it. It's
My
like
dad had a Marantz.
oh wow, it had like tube amplifiers and stuff.
Yeah, my dad had a Marantz. It was an incredible sounding system, and I got to play records when I was at his house in the summer, but that was it. That was
Yeah.
mostly just tapes.
Yeah, we had an 8-track. He had in this system, he had an 8-track on it, and he had the vinyl platters.
Oh
And
wow.
so like we used to listen to like tons of stuff, and it was just really amazing to be able to hear like even then because it's like analog tape and vinyl
Yeah.
it's just gonna sound a
Oh,
certain.
I,
That's
I
what yeah, you know what I mean.
I'm a tape head all the way. I used to have a reel to reel until it got lost in a fire.
I was using Tascam 4-trackers for years because I like to capture like my Moogs like directly into an analog tape.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, because it's just like I
That's
don't got to worry about compression. I don't got to worry about crap, for my
everything's
dog.
perfect. Nice hot, warm recording. Not too hot though.
Yeah, well, the problem with Moogs is they take over the mix, and then people don't
Oh
like
yeah.
it. That's why the DX7 kind of came in and blew it out. But I still like the fact that it does that, and you kind of got to write knowing that that's what it does. You know, like so if you know that it's that heavy,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of make your stuff heavy.
Or you know you got a good mixer. That's really where it's at. Is
Yeah.
I found I can skimp on all sorts of other gear. I can buy the cheap synth and make it sound cool.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we can always
but
throw effect pedals on everything and like
yeah,
blast it out. You can
yeah.
take a Casio and make it sound like super crazy.
It doesn't matter though if your mixer's crap.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
if you got a crappy
if
mixer, you're gonna
it's
sound
cutting
like
out on you, and you got white noise on half of them, and pots clicking and popping
no.
and hitting, and yeah, it's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's when you go into the DAW, but then you go in the DAW and there's like the problem I had some guy I was working with, like so I'm all analog and I'm working with this guy with FL Studio. And then he go and do his rendering, and then all the effects that what he heard was not what he got after
Oh wow.
every time he rendered it, it was like he would get so frustrated because like your sound is exactly what you want it to be, but every time I do all my effects change and do everything, it's not coming out. I think he had a crap PC. That's probably why. But um, but if you got a crap PC, then you get a bad mix, and you're like,
Oh
okay.
yeah. Yeah.
um, but so like the workflow question doesn't apply to you because you're not using the DAW, so we'll jump out of that.
No.
So you're
I
using a
export
traditional
straight to Audacity, 2 channel.
Audacity.
Yeah.
That's
I have
cool.
a big mixing board, a Mackie 32,
Oh, that's
um,
nice.
that I use for certain things when I have a lot of inputs. But usually
Mhm.
I'm just doing everything right into my Allen and Heath Zone DB2.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a DJ mixer, but it's got awesome effects. The effects on it are incredible. And but yeah, I pretty much I try to run cheap synths. Honestly, I used to teach elementary school kids about electronic music and DJing. I go and do a weekly class with them, and they were fourth graders, So I wanted it to be something that was potentially accessible,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
mine was
So,
no synths over $300
yeah, I
basically.
mean, there's a lot of little Arturias and Yamahas and low, you know,
Oh, the Korg Volca series is
yeah,
awesome.
they're both. Yeah, I mean, you can get low, like the boutique modules from Roland. You know, they got these low modules. They might be a little more expensive, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of I'm a key player, so I try to get like a synth that's pretty good because
Hmm.
that it's like a guitar player, right? You
Yep.
you, you kind of gotta have, you're gonna play those keys. You gotta have something that's gonna like a Juno or something. But
Yeah, I had a Juno 60 and a Juno 106, and I lost
yeah,
those.
yeah, that's like I got a Juno GI, which is like a later version, but
Yeah.
and then I got a couple of Moogs, but and I
Uh
got a bunch of modular gear.
oh, you went down the modular road.
Yeah, well, it's all analog stuff, and I like the fact that you can CV it, so you kind of just rework the workflow.
Well,
So it's like,
you can attach everything however the hell you want.
yeah,
You
you
can
can. I've got like a ladder filter going into a state variable filter, going back into a ladder filter,
you
using
can
a real
change that.
spring reverb.
Yeah, it's wild.
You can
I'm
take a one LFO from like the cool thing about the CV, it's like MIDI, because I can take CV one LFO from like a Prophet and have the LFO of a Prophet drive a Moog,
yeah.
and then or have a Moog drive a Roland, and so you can kind of cross pollinate all these different things and run through different filters and different
That,
envelopes. You get
that's
different
what I've been.
behavior.
That's what I've been doing with MIDI. Is I got a TR8 as my main drum clock,
Oh, it's nice.
and I run that into a Novation circuit,
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is my favorite in, electronic music instrument of all time. It
Yeah, that's
it
a
is
nice machine.
awesome. For the money, there isn't anything better.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I use a Beat Step Pro from
The Beat Step
Arturia.
Pro, I mean, yeah, the Beat Step Pro can do more things and all that stuff, but the circuit's a standalone instrument.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of
Have
like an
done it.
Akai Force. It was
Yeah,
like the MPCs and the Akai Force. I'm actually thinking of getting an Akai Force so I could kind of just do some standalone type of
yeah.
stuff.
The new circuit, the circuit tracks,
Yeah,
is it's like a Beat Step.
yeah. That's more. I love the Beat Step because I got it controlling a bunch of analog gear.
Yeah, yeah, it's got
And
a bunch
I
of buttons on it, and
yeah,
you can.
it's got so much I/O on it. I got it running like all the CV. Yeah,
Hmm.
I have a CV. I have it CV in a like a Moog DFAM, which is a analog drum machine.
My roommate has it. It's awesome. I love that drum machine. It's cool.
Yeah, the DFAM is so bass heavy. You know,
Oh yeah, it's
you
a
can
thumper.
and then you can get it to do not to you can get it to do non-percussive stuff. You can get it
Hmm.
to do really out there kind of mini Moog stuff if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
figure out how to do
Yeah,
it.
sine wave stuff even.
Yeah, it's like I have a mother 32, I got a grandmother, and I got a DFAM, and I got them all kind of cross pollinating together.
Yeah.
And then it's like you got crazy amount of oscillators if you tie them all together. Then you get this like super oscillator, like you have like a model 33 or 55 or something.
Boom.
You just slam in it, and you can just like blow up the speakers.
Yeah, you can
You
definitely.
can blow them out.
I watch my levels. I'm religious about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I am a level watcher. Um, I might be the only one that does that in Detroit, but I do it.
Well, it's cool if you're like an electronic musician and you got your own mixer and you show up at the gig and you got your own like mixer before he hits the other guy.
Yeah,
Um, because that's what I do. Because I've got like two. I've got like I got my R24 and I got a Roland MX1,
yeah.
and I use the Roland MX1 to kind of create stereo mixes off of analog machines. So I'll
I
take an analog machine, bring it in, and stereo it out into the Zoom.
see. I have a because I run into a DJ setup. I basically have my setup so that I can DJ and play my drum machines and synths all at the same time.
That's cool. That's what I think is the future of DJing is more people using stuff like tracks and the Force and
Yeah.
and using like the Lin instrument.
I mean,
Anytime you yeah.
right now my setup is one turntable, and then my TR8 going into the Novation circuit. It's my master clock, and then I run two lines out of my circuit controlling two Volcas.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
cool setup. Vocals are good. Vocals are
oh yeah,
really
I
good.
got the Volca kick, the Volca drum, and the Volca FM. All the weird ones.
Well, you can
And
do a lot with those little machines.
oh, the
Yeah,
Volca drum is insane.
yeah. I mean, that's like
I highly recommend it. It's similarities to the DFAM, but it's not analog. It's digital, but
yeah.
it's
It's
wildly
it's like
powerful.
that Roland like boutique stuff is like faux digital, faux analog.
But
You got this,
this
you
is
know.
a more along the lines of like because it, it it's not playing samples of the sounds. I don't think. I think it's
No,
actually
no.
creating a digital synth. Um, for the drum machine, the parameters that you can change on it are incredible.
Yeah,
It,
that's pretty nasty. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff
they're
you can
like
do.
100.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I think you dropped off a little bit. Yeah, your mic dropped out a little bit. Yeah, you're back.
Hello,
Yeah, yeah. Mic
I'm back.
dropped when you were trying to say that. Go back and say what you were saying.
Yeah, it's $160. It's an incredible machine. I recommend that, and the circuit I recommend more than anything because you have two dedicated synths as well as four sample players. 128 steps per channel, so that's 6 channels of step sequencing, fully automated. You can record knob movements, pad velocity, all that stuff. And you have a minute of sample time in there. I load all my own drum sounds that I make.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the way to go. I mean, that's one thing I love about guys like you. That it really gets me. You know, feeling good about where things are going is because there's so many people that want to do the Fruity Loops and all that stuff. Um,
yeah.
but I'm kind of like Planet Rock and stuff, right? Or you go back and you get people that sample like Funkadelic. You get like a band
Mhm.
like De La Soul,
Yeah.
and in De La Soul, their choices in sampling, or even like the Bomb Squad.
Oh yeah.
That's like art. That's art.
That's some solid selections there.
Yeah, it's really good
Yeah.
art. Because so I can respect that. But when I see a guy just like phoning it in and like jumping up and down, and then like, what are they doing on their board? You
They're
know,
they're, they're running like a uh, uh, tractor or some shit.
yeah. And I'm like, it's like, okay, I understand. It's like, so I'm like, are you an MC or
They
because
are a dancer.
Yeah,
It,
it's more of a
that,
dancer.
they're more along the line of a dancer. They're dancing on stage
Yeah, so I'm
more.
like it's like how can you think that the dancing is making the music?
Well, it's not. You know, um,
Uh,
like most. That's the thing that's really I think unfortunate about DJing nowadays is that it. There was this point where it went, you know,
Entertainment. It turned
fully
into
digital,
yeah.
and people didn't have to learn how to match beats. They didn't have to do any of that stuff.
No, it's
They,
just so much automation
yeah,
that
they would just pick the tracks out and let the machines do the mixing.
well, I can see like okay, I can understand like if you put all your work into making your track,
Hmm.
and then when you go do the performance, you want to do like you want to be an entertainer. So
Hmm.
you're jumping on a trampoline and you're doing flips
Yeah,
or whatever.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, if you wrote it and you actually put it together, okay, fine. But there's a different type of thing, like where you're doing vinyl.
Hmm.
So there's got to be a certain level of skill. It's kind of like a guy playing a Moog. You know,
Hmm.
I'm not just gonna run the sequencer. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
You know.
Or do both.
I can do both, but it's like some people might just run the sequencer all night. you know, and it's like like if you use all your sequencers and you do some other things, like yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a one guy, so I've got like 10 sequencers
I
running
don't have
all these clocks. So I was like, yeah, I got stuff that's
to
automated, but it's
sequences.
analog automation.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I don't know. I like also the chance for mistakes.
Well, I think happy accidents, think about it today, right? A guy like Keith Richards, a lot of
It's so alive.
producers they would like say, "Oh, you can't," right? Because like if you try to clock Keith Richards into a DAW, it's going to say, "Oh, you're messing up," because it's not
Yeah.
going to like his
Oh,
timing.
totally. No,
It's not going to get it.
time is like this is off. We're gonna fix it.
Yeah, because it's off
Like,
because that's the brilliance of it. You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, like there's that's jazz.
Yeah, I mean, he's
There's
playing like a jazz guy. I mean, he's a
yeah,
rocker, but he's got this jazz aesthetic that it really makes the Stones sound. You
yes,
know,
absolutely. That's
you know,
amazing.
even
He's still alive.
think about that's the kind of like Neil Young and Crazy Horse when they
Hmm.
do their kind of punkish stuff. It's actually because they're hitting notes a little off time
Yep.
that makes it as vital as it is. It's like
Hmm.
why Nirvana sounds like they do, like why Husker Du sounds like that.
That's
Because like Grant Hart and Bob Mould are just doing this kind of crazy stuff, and it's not exactly perfect, and it's beautiful because it's not perfect.
yes. The beauty is in the imperfections, and
Yeah,
it's like, when I hear something that is, I guess, considered technically perfect,
yeah. Usually I don't like it.
it's boring.
Yeah, but if you get the perfect sound, right? A lot of these producers, and I don't want to come down on them, and I'm not going to
Mhm.
say who they are, but they spend all this time trying to get the perfect kick, trying to get the perfect like synth pad and make it so lush and whatever. But it's like it's boring.
Yeah, their
It's like
music
elevator
lacks
music.
soul.
Yeah, it has no soul. I mean, it's like we really think about like James Brown in the Flames, right?
Yeah.
They didn't do that. I mean, they
It was-
might get a really good drummer to lock in, but they're kind of just riffing,
yeah,
you
but
know.
James is also very, very, very big on timing.
Yeah, his
So
timing is awesome, but
yeah,
he's riffing the lyrics.
yeah, he's riffing the lyrics. But if his guys got off time in the band, they got
Oh
done.
yeah, well yeah, they got deducted, but it's basically like he's the conductor and he's saying bring
Yeah.
this part in, bring that part in, and it's kind of random, kind of stream of consciousness,
Yes.
and the timing is perfect. The guy,
Yeah.
but they play with it like jazz guys. They come in, they come out, they come back to it, they go back out of it, you know,
Yeah.
and
They
that's
in between each other, all that stuff.
yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
interplay. But today is like you get people like if you try to improvise like that, it's like no, you got to stay on the grid. Because like my whole thing is I don't do that, right? And this guy came to me, he wanted to do a collaboration, and I said, "Do you really understand what the Ghost is about?" Because he said he wanted to work with
Not
me,
mess it up.
and then he kept on saying I wasn't in time on the DAW. And I said, "But I'm never on time on the DAW. I'm never going to be on time. You got to actually
On time.
play."
I'm on my tape though. It sounds
Yeah,
great.
yeah, you actually got to play with me. You know,
Yeah, they don't get that either.
you
Like,
know.
but there's I don't know. There's this younger bunch of kids that thanks to doing the party that I used to do out here in Midwest Fresh, I got introduced to that are they're hungry to learn. They're like, what
That's
is this
cool.
stuff? You
Well, I
know,
think
they're
every generation that gets burned out, like EDM's burning them out.
mm-hmm.
You know, trance is burning them out because, like, after a
I mean
while,
that happened in the '90s.
yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, I think eventually you get burned out. I mean, disco got burned out. You
yeah,
know,
and
so
it's back again. I love disco actually.
well, I think disco was like it shouldn't have got burned out because it's really got there's a lot of technical skill in it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of I mean, it's basically funk, and then it's got all these like really lush violins and horns and stuff
Well,
going on.
there's
You know,
disco though that like was underground. You know,
yeah, yeah,
like the no wave stuff in New York
yeah,
and
yeah.
that. Like there's some underground disco that is incredible. It's
Yeah, I
gritty.
think it's like the Bee Gees kind of stuff. It kind of blew everybody out because it's like they heard it too much.
It was it what it this is what happens with any musical movement from what I've noticed is something that attracts the youth. The big record companies jump on it,
And they cloned it to
exploit it
hell.
all to hell, make it awful, useless garbage, and then move on to whatever the next big thing is.
Well, they go like even today. I see these pitches. Like I'm part of this like group that like that gets pitches,
Mm.
and you'll see the pitches like they get like sound like Drake, sound like this, sound like that, right? And they're telling you exactly what to sound like and to clone it so they don't have to pay Drake, right? And I'm looking at that and I'm like I'm never doing that. It's
Yeah,
like
that's garbage.
so
Like,
I don't. But I was like they want to keep on just regenerating the same thing because they think that makes money.
well, Pharrell got sued for sounding like for vibing like Marvin Gaye, and I'm serious. He got sued for it, and the Marvin Gaye estate won. So
Well,
watch
yeah,
out.
I mean, because if you get too much like a Ice Ice Baby, if you get too much like you take that Queen Bowie song and
Mm-hmm.
then you say that you actually changed it when you didn't,
Yes, that's just that's Rob Van Winkle being a dumbass.
he's just like I changed it. Like,
No, you
where
did.
did you change it?
You didn't change it at all. He didn't even do it. That's the thing. It's like he wasn't even the producer for it.
Yeah, I know. But
Eh,
it's just interesting that you get this thing. But I think what's really cool is it's really interesting is like because of things like the Volcas, because of
yeah,
like really cheap analog or faux analog little boxes, people
yeah,
can the kids can get these things and they don't have to use the Fruity Loops.
yeah.
They can actually get their hands on a music making tool.
And that's what I was big on the circuit. With these kids,
Yeah,
because you can get one for under $300.
that's
You
just
know.
brilliant. That's like I back in the day I had a Casio CZ 101
Mm-hmm.
and
I had one of those too.
that thing was awesome because
Fun.
you could do really cool synthesis and it was a little tiny little thing and people say oh that's a little shit box whatever excuse my
No,
French but it's like no it wasn't
no.
you could do a lot of I mean I put like Boss effect pedals on it. I would
Okay.
go and put like a phaser and a distortion and then it would give I make it scream
Oh
you
yeah.
know
Sure.
and there's
Awesome.
all yeah I mean that's an old synth trick is they grab a bunch of pedals and
Yeah.
string them together and then throw your synth through it you know
Right. It's fun. I had I when I was like 8 and 9, my dad had a Casio. What was it?
one of the other ones like that has
It,
a like Casio.
it was one that you could sample things on it.
Oh, I have one of those. I still have it. They had this
Yeah,
little tiny
it
sample one. I
slightly
still
different.
got it. Yeah,
Like
it's a little black
the
one. It's
different
like
keys
we
to
have mini
sample up.
keys
It's
on it.
really funny.
Yeah, but you could use it. I would just go and put it into my task amp and
Hmm.
then use it to like sample little things.
I would
And
sample. I would
what?
sample
What?
parts of beats and then
Oh,
play and then put a weight down on the key
oh,
and
cool.
yeah
Just
yeah
have it repeat.
yeah
Y-
and
y-
that was part of my beat and I would change the beat up by maybe pressing up like another key real quick to get
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
roll effect or whatever. Um, yeah, and that was my drum machine because I didn't like the drum sounds on the on the keyboards.
Yeah, one of the
But
things
I
I
liked the
got
drum
was
sound. I didn't like the beats.
yeah, yeah. One of the things I
Nobody's
got
doing
was
it
I got one
with
of
the
the
walls.
oh that's awesome.
Nobody,
Well, I think it's cool. to use what you have. I think it's kind of like Jack White said he used like $100 guitar, like a
Yeah,
plastic guitar, and it's
yeah,
really like okay, you don't have to have a $10,000 guitar. Like if you know how
yeah.
to play, you're gonna
I'm
rip it.
not a, that thing rocks.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna rip it. But like I like to take samples of like my own songs. I'll go take like a Ghost song, like 5-year-old song, and then resample it into like a morphogene. I got
Okay.
like this Eurorack sampler, and then I'll kind of phase it and reverse it and like time
You're
warp
all
it.
crazy.
Yeah, because the one thing about my morphogene sampler is it actually time phases, so it'll take the middle of the song in multiple points in the song occurring at the same time.
Wow.
So it will just make multiple, and it can randomize it,
So it's
and
kind
then
of
you
like
can.
granular synth.
It's kind of like a granular synthesis because it basically is a Eurorack sampler. It doesn't even have a screen. It's all
Hmm.
visual. It's all dials, and then you can trigger the samples with controlled voltage.
Hmm.
So you can go and take your LFO and have your LFO trigger where the sample is going to happen, or you
That's
can have
wild.
an envelope generator trigger where the sample is going to happen. So it's a CV enabled analog sampler that
That's cool.
can, and so you can have like a DFAM running it, you know,
Yeah.
and so then it does a lot of crazy stuff, and you can get it to do like really long envelopes and things that kick back in like 10 minutes later.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's just a lot of cool. If you're a guy that's playing by yourself, having kind of random events
Yes.
triggered by like, yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
I used to have an iPad, and it lost that to a flood, but
Yeah.
it had this program. I got this program on it called Borderlands,
Hmm.
and what it was a granular synth playback.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome. Oh, did I lose you again? I think I lost you for a second.
iPad with this
Yeah.
and the Borderlands stuff. I anymore, so it's only available, I think, for Windows machine, Windows tablets.
That's the one thing I hate about some software is like as soon as something goes away, then you lose it.
Oh,
That's why I've always liked
I
the
hate that.
hardware sense.
I
Like if
despise it.
yeah, if the operating system goes, then you lose your library, you lose all your stuff, and you can't
Well, yeah,
update it anymore.
I lost everything in a fire, so I
Yeah.
lost hundreds of hours of reel to reel quarter-inch tape that
Oh, that's
you're
terrible.
and 3,000 records and all sorts of stuff.
That's
But
like my worst nightmare is to
yeah, that's
lose all my SD cards and
expensive.
all my like. Can I back everything up? Cause I don't trust hard drives, so I put into onto SD cards a bunch of my stuff, and then
Yeah.
it's like I worry like somebody's gonna go just grab all my SD cards.
I mean, I record and send it directly to my Dropbox.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've been running things to my like Google Drive or backing it up on
I don't trust
cloud.
Google, but Dropbox, I had an issue where my iCloud was randomly deleting things on my Dropbox.
Oh, that's not cool.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, that's very terrifying.
Yeah, I got 2 terabytes of recorded music on there.
You don't want that. That's like a total nightmare because like if you got all your reference material and you're trying to control it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to use like a time capsule.
Well, that's what they did uh, I talked to an actual human who worked for Dropbox, who helped me through the whole thing, helped me figure out what the hell was going on because I couldn't figure it out, and fixed everything. They can wind stuff back in time, something like I don't know, 60 days or so.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, it's one cool thing about having cloud backups, but then you hope no hacker ever gets into your raw material and then like steals all your beats.
No,
You know.
hackers. I've been dealing with some of that lately.
Yeah, because that they really that's the thing. Like you get these guys that can wherever they are. I won't say one place or the other because they're all
Yeah,
over the place. But
these ones are here where I live. So.
well, they're international and they're like in the country. Like
Yeah.
they're basically wherever they want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and they just like to steal intellectual property. And then they started to figure out, well, music is intellectual property.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, I'll steal all these beats and I'll sell them.
Ah, that what's going on nowadays?
Yeah. There are specific hackers looking for musicians, try to break in their stuff, take their stuff, and then sell their groups. You know, that's what
Oh man.
that's why you got to like get in a rights organization like ASCAP or BMI and like make sure you license all your stuff. So if they
I
do
mean,
it, then you
honestly,
get paid, for what you do.
yeah. I mean, I don't like. I don't. I part of me wants to get paid, but then another part of me is like, you know, once you start making a living off this, it's going to change the dynamic of the music.
Well, I think it's also good just to protect your work and whether or not you're
Yeah,
going to get paid or
yeah.
not. It's just a
I would
good
take
idea to
like
protect your work just so nobody's goes and takes something you did and you put so much work into and then rip you totally
and it
off.
puts their name on it and
Yeah, I
sells
mean, it's
a number or
more
whatever.
not about trying to be a millionaire. I'm in a BMI. I don't make mass amount of money, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's more to like I wrote this, I put time into it, and I don't want somebody freaking just stealing it because they didn't put any effort into doing that.
yeah, yeah.
you know,
So much of that.
yeah, and it's rampant. I mean, the record companies like will like if you don't watch it, they'll steal it when you sign the contract.
Oh yeah, no, the record company's been ripping off musicians since day
They'll steal
one.
it right in your face. They'll smile in your face and steal it.
Yeah, that's they have a long, long history of that.
Yeah, that's
I
what they do.
have no love for the big record companies.
No, I mean that's why I think we're all in this indie kind of bedroom producer world is
Yeah,
because we want to be able to do our art the way we want.
yeah,
And
no strings attached. I don't want to, just because this particular American Idol singer is popular doesn't mean I need to sound like her. You
well,
know?
it's like Clone Wars. And I always it's like
Yeah.
everything in all the PR guys is like they see something, they want to make 100 copies of that.
Oh,
You know,
you listen to Spotify and that crap. It's like
yeah, it's just
it's all
tons
the
of
same song.
it's the same producer using the same damn beat with the same
Yeah.
synths and the same stuff, and then telling everybody. But the thing I hate about it is they're telling everybody that's what a song is.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in the '70s, right?
Yeah.
And
Song
I
two
it's
days
like
long.
like, well, I'm listening to Pink Floyd, I'm listening to Zeppelin, I'm listening to like Sun Ra,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I'm into the Allman Brothers. I used to go see I used to
Allman Brothers.
follow the Allman. I follow the Allmans. I go see like 3 concerts in a row.
I saw them at the Jazz Fest in '96, and they blew my mind.
Yeah, because it's like that to me, like that. I can't help it. But I was like, I'm always gonna say, I'm sorry, but when you see Dickie Betts and you see Greg Allman on the stage, with Warren Haynes or something, it's like you can't match that. you
One
know,
of the things that blew me away about Allman Brothers was the drums, man.
well, the double drums, those
Dude,
double, I mean, the drums are like maniac. They're all unbelievable.
the drums, the whole, and I went to New Orleans in jazz during Jazz Fest,
Yeah, that's
and
amazing stuff.
it was incredible. The drums blew my mind. Like
Well,
I
the
could go,
level of percussion in that band is unbelievable. Like
yeah,
if you actually listen to like their famous records and
mm,
you see what they're doing, I mean it's jazz.
oh
It's
yeah, that's why they're Jazz Fest.
yeah. I mean it's a rock band that can play heavy jazz,
Yes.
and they can do it like really at a level I'd never seen that again. I mean Steely Dan was like forced jazz. This is more natural.
Mm-hmm.
Steely Dan, they do jazz. They have a bunch of Motown guys playing with them. They got a bunch of guys that are jazz guys, but it's more like
Yeah,
they really try to write the hell out of it.
they
So
do.
they're writing stuff that's very precise. Where the Almonds are like a real jam band.
Yeah, they're jamming. They're getting in the groove.
Yeah, that's what I like. I'm
Yeah,
always
the
gonna like
drums,
that.
man. That's really what blew my mind because I didn't know the Almonds had drums like that.
Yeah, in '74, my older brother showed me like their famous live album
Yeah.
on vinyl, and he just kept on playing it, and I'm like, I just like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. I just got into rock, because he just kept on
Mm-hmm.
playing it, and everybody was into Zepp.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing like Zeppelin 4, but we were playing like we were
Hey,
playing the live Allman Brothers.
you're getting
And
better education there. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I'm just like, damn, man. I mean, I like Zepp, but I like that. I like the blues. I'm so sorry. I'm
They
gonna go
they
more
they
into
they,
that.
they really you know, definitely rip off some blues guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, Zepp. The problem with Zepp is like compared to Keith will acknowledge what he took.
Yeah. Oh
Actually
yeah.
he'll put the credit on the record. On a
Yeah.
Stones record, he'll say what he took.
Yep.
But Plant and those guys, they didn't put it down. If they're
No.
taking Robert Johnson, they're taking Lead Belly, and
Yeah.
then they
All
wouldn't
that
put it
stuff.
down. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I can't
Zero
get into
credit.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cause like, come on, man. I know you know.
Oh
I know Jimmy Page knows that. He
yeah.
knows that.
But
He's not dumb.
they like money,
Yeah,
and
well, yeah, they want to pay him, and it's hard for those guys can't get lawyers.
right.
So it's like if you
Or
can't
they're
get a
dead.
lawyer, you're not gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah.
it's you know, I don't know. I get hit with copyright stuff all the time on Insta,
Oh
and
yeah. I mean, it's just rampant. Like if you're gonna be in the kind of if you're taking like if you're sampling and you're mining it like the original hip hop, it's
yeah.
hard to do that without getting copyright strikes.
Well,
You know.
I'm just I'll be playing my own music, and they're saying copyright stuff. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
whoa.
yeah. I mean, I've had people actually say like I have a say it's a ghost track. I said, well, that's my track.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I'm like, which track are you talking about here? Because I
it's
DJ
like
rap.
it's my own crack. I've had like totally. It's not even sampled. It's just I played a song I put out 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would go on a podcast and I play it,
Yeah.
and they say I'm playing somebody else's song. It's like, no, did you check who that is? That's me.
Yeah.
And then they take it off because I can prove it's me. But I'm like it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Um,
They
to
block
like
my time, and it's like, tell me which track. Tell me who owns what, because you're just telling me somebody else owns this. No, they don't. You know, like how, and not only what that, this is something that makes me mad is, okay, I'll DJ some records. Like, they were coming after me on, uh, what's his name?
you were just DJing.
Bob James.
Oh, okay.
Bob James, Steam and Feeling. And
Okay.
I, I, uh, I do like an edit of that, and I just grab like a little 6 second loop from it, and
Hmm.
then chop it up and mess with it. And they would hit me with that all the time, like, but I just kept playing it, and I was like, okay, well, I can go in the sticker section of Instagram and grab this same loop, even longer. I,
Yeah. I mean, it's just like it depends on where you get it from.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if they're the one pushing it, then it's okay. But
mm-hmm.
if they're like it's kind of bogus.
It's totally
Because
bogus.
yeah, because it's like if you think about it, every blues song is coming from like Robert Johnson or Lead Belly, the original guys,
Yeah,
right? And so there's only
yep,
so many ways you're gonna do it, right? If Stevie Ray
yep.
Vaughan does it, or Hendrix does it, or Clapton does it, whoever
Muddy
does it,
water,
yeah,
whoever.
they're
Yeah,
all gonna take that standard blues form. And are you gonna tell me that you're gonna put a copyright strike on that?
yeah. It's
So
like,
like in every form of music, there's a standard style,
mm-hmm.
and you're gonna end up hitting those notes. So are you
But
gonna go and say who actually owns those notes?
nobody owns those notes. Stop it.
Yeah,
Is what I
yeah,
say.
yeah.
You know, it's a
I
bunch
mean,
of crap.
yeah. If I'm playing it, then I'm playing it. If I decide to do Love Supreme, if
Mm-hmm.
I decide to take a little Love Supreme and do it on my Moog,
Yeah.
and I played it live, I didn't sample it, I played it. That's
This,
me just having an expression. Are you gonna jam me for that?
well,
You
it's
know?
like it's. Here's the thing, and I noticed this the other day. Um, this, and I'm mainly like, this is about the DJing stuff, because honestly, like, DJs don't make. I don't know. I don't make any money off of my DJ sets on Instagram. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
making money. I'm not getting any gigs. Um, like,
yeah.
you want to pay the artist that I'm playing now, anyways. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's like they would just want to pay the publisher, and
yeah, it has nothing
it's
to do
probably somebody else that owns it
with
anyway.
artist compensation. Like they were
Yeah,
coming
well,
after me saying that I had this Bo Hansen record. It's like a tribute to Lord of the Rings or whatever. It came out in 1971. They were trying to say it was uh, uh, Tubular Bells. I'm like, no,
come on,
get out of
that's
here.
being really anal. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Because some of that stuff is like, okay, it's beyond it kind of time period to me, and there's some stuff that ends up becoming like public record again.
yeah. I
Unless,
said,
but
oh,
there's some people that
that's
have gone and bought these
cool.
catalogs. They got these big companies that went and bought some of this stuff,
Yes,
right?
but
And we don't
own
know, and you don't even know they did, and then suddenly they're hitting you with a copyright strike.
it's dumb. It's so stupid on their part because here's the thing: is a lot of this stuff that like real DJs play, people that play vinyl, they're
Hmm.
playing odd stuff that
You're
it
paying
would
really like
probably
rare stuff. Yeah.
record company good for that kind of exposure. Even
You would think they would like somebody's gonna go find it
yeah,
and then they're gonna buy it.
yeah,
So why are you gonna slam somebody? I mean, that's what people used to do, you know.
people still do that today.
Yeah,
I
you
know
know.
because I have friends that work at record stores still. I've worked at a couple record stores, a record distributor. I mean, it's people are getting back into tangible
Yeah.
things.
I was talking to somebody about that just a couple, a while back. There's a big vinyl movement,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that
I'm
that
actually bummed out about it because what's going on with that is all these vinyl factories are pressing up freaking Led Zeppelin and Beatles albums that we
yeah.
don't anymore
I don't
copy
need
that.
that. I don't need that. I
At the
think
expense
people.
of
Well, I,
own,
I
own artists. It's
well the
really
thing because for the indie artist, for merch, we just had T-shirts, and now vinyl gives you a way. Like if I go to New York City and I just do a micro ghost release of like 100 records,
you sell all of them probably.
I sell them all and I make more money than I make on Spotify all year.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And if I do that 4 or 5 times, I sell 500 vinyls. I make pretty good money. I
Like
don't even have to sell like a record label. Say, oh, to stay on the label, you got to sell 200,000. Well, if you're just do it yourself and you sell like 5,000,
you're doing good.
you can survive. You can
Yeah,
tour. You can actually do what you want. You don't have to sell the 100,000 because the 100,000, what they giving you like $1?
you
If you're
know.
lucky, like per record. If
I,
you do it yourself, you're keeping like 70% of it.
yeah,
So
they don't want us
why
doing
would
that.
you do that?
They don't want us doing that. That's why I feel like that there's a squeeze on the vinyl industry. Recently, one of the lacquer factories, one of
Yeah,
the
it caught on
two,
fire or something.
yeah.
I wonder who did that.
I wonder.
Sounds like something like somebody's Tony's friend did it. Not to come down on him, but yeah, it's like I think we need to do a job.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna
But
make you an offer you can't refuse.
yeah, well, it's the kind of records do we've had kind of people like that floating around it for years, um, and that and they still have. There's a lot of gangsters into it, and it's like not to
Oh
put down gangsters, but there's certain type of gangster that you don't want. The
no.
the the one that takes your money when you're
Yeah, and
trying to
there's a
work.
lot of that in dance music. Honestly, like
Yeah,
that's like a real thing.
yeah. Well, they're just all over it, and you got to be careful because they're like they'll be hanging you out the window at the 10th floor of some building. It's like
Yeah,
sign this right
stuff
now.
to say the least.
you know, but yeah, I think we're kind of at our time. We tend to go about 60 minutes,
Okay.
and but yeah, I think we try to follow stuff, but sometimes the conversation kind of goes where it goes,
Yeah.
and we have a good
Great
time, and I think
conversation.
it's cool.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, so this is gonna come out after I do some edits. I mean, I'm gonna edit, and it's gonna get out there. Like I said, we're on a bunch of platforms. We're on Spotify podcast, whether you like it or not. Uh,
Hey, hey,
we're on
I
Apple.
possess it of it. I totally get it. I
Yeah,
totally.
but well, the cool thing about the podcast is you don't actually have to subscribe. Like
Oh wow.
if you're like if you go on Apple or Spotify, you don't have to be a subscriber to listen to the podcast. They
Yeah.
probably don't want me to say that, but that's the truth. So you can
Oh, that's
actually
cool.
listen for
I've got an Apple phone, so it works out good. I
yeah,
listen
so you
to
can
podcasts
listen
all
to the Apple podcast for free. And if you go to Anchor FM, you can get that one. But we're going to be on Radio Public, Overcast. We're on like 11 different platforms. If you go out to Anchor, you can see the platforms that we're on.
cool.
So it's going to cascade to all those within an hour or two after I do the edit. So sometime tonight, I will send you the main link
All right, awesome.
and then you can just share it. And we also will put the highlight on a story on Instagram and you can share it. And that one will actually link to the Spotify one so people can
Cool.
play it right off of Instagram.
Oh,
So
good
they'll
deal.
have a link, they'll go from a highlight and it'll go right to it. Okay.
Awesome. That's
All right.
great.
So, yeah. So have a good time tonight. Go rip up some music, get into it. And that's what I'm going to do later.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, man.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.